We're. So moved. Okay, Tom, second,
I second it.
there. Good person. Okay, so we have just a couple little minor things. We're gonna let tonight, and when we get down to item number 11, we're gonna let change the order of presentation between Hannah and Jerry. And outside of that, and then there'll be an exclusion later on in item 13 to the new business, but well, that's really, we're not adding anything, it's just a couple of minor tweaks. Okay. It's all right, we're gonna call for vote, all in favor?
Aye.
100%, okay. So tonight is welcome visitors. Jerry has invited Lance Harpel. Lance is from Grapeview. He will be running this November in the open position for Deb Olig's position, which she'll vacate in the first of the year. So Lance is recently retired, longtime decorated military career in the United States Navy. Anything else you'd like to say, Lance?
No, I'm just father of 3, grandfather of 10, born and raised. Yeah, born and raised in Washington. Olympia originally, but
We won't hold that against him.
no, it's okay. It's all good. But no, happy to be here. Happy to be
So Lance, just so you know, this is Wes Martin, by the way.
Yeah,
Ron Anderson, of course, you met Jerry, obviously, you know me, and of course, Every's from Pirates Cove, and Wes and Tom are basically the Mason Lake area. Jerry, of course, hails from Tumblr.
I live in Olympia.
I'm on the better lake, Benson Lake.
Heard that.
I'm on the bigger lake. How do you spell your last name, Lance?
Harpel.
H-A-R?
It is Harpel, not Harpel.
Oh,
Yes.
H-A-R-T-E-L.
But you know what? I answer to both because it's not worth correcting.
Mhm.
Okonek.
Yeah, really iconic.
No,
Can I just ask a quick
yes, sir,
question?
yes, sir.
What interested you in the school board?
Father of 3, grandfather of 10.
Okay,
You know, I think our kids are probably our most precious resource and ultimately will take over where. And make a better country, civil economy, whatever you wanna call it, they're gonna do better than we did. And we're gonna help them along the way.
yeah, one can hope. That's good. Yeah, it's really good.
Any other questions? Okay.
Happy you're stepping up.
So Lance,
Happy you're stepping up.
thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate it, Lance. Really cool. So you're more than welcome to stay and watch us how we go through this, or if you, okay, awesome. So public comment, so Sherry, I don't see anybody here.
No.
Okay, no public comment tonight. Student recognitions. And then we get down to agenda item number 8, recognition. Sherry?
Yeah, so as a tradition, most every month, we try to recognize students who have done well in our school, who are outstanding, because we want to acknowledge people that are working hard and doing good, and so we do that with students throughout the year. But once a year, we like to recognize a community. So a few years back, we established the Grapeview Community Partnership Award, and that award goes to people who contribute to our school in some way. Usually through, they're not staff, they're volunteers, people in the community who have worked hard to contribute to our school. When I speak at the volunteers, I do the same speech. It's a little dull, but I really mean it. I say that one of the things that's I've worked at quite a few different schools, and I've tried to watch and what makes them good or better. One of the things that I've noticed that what takes a school from good to great is the community and those people who invest in this school. And so that's why I wanted to do this award and acknowledge those people that do that. And so as we were thinking, administrative team thinking about who might that be, we saw a little red car out in the parking lot of Louise, who has been coming here regularly. Actually, she's been involved in the school before I was born. She was involved in the school and helping in various ways, at various capacities for over 60 years.
The old school.
At the old school, yes. It's all Grapeview School, and it was at the old school, and then it continues on. Here you come and you read with kids and contribute in important ways. So the longevity is really outstanding, and your commitment to the success of the school over many decades is much appreciated. So if you'd come up, I'd like to give you the award for the Grapeview Community Partnership Award for 2025.
You gotta remember, I'm getting old.
Yes, I know. Yeah, that's part of it. 60 years of service. Dedication.
So I
So,
want a picture with the board up there.
yeah. that's what I do.
Okay,
Okay, yeah,
well, let me set this down for a minute or,
okay, yeah.
Hey, don't get fingerprints all over that.
okay, now where are we going?
Stand right there and they'll surround you there.
Oh, this is a proud son moment, no less.
Hey, everybody say Peter.
Later.
I think somebody will ask. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Need a hand or?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got a box for it too.
all day. Well, I thank you all very much for the thoughtfulness of this.
Here comes the box. That's very nice.
And I'm not gonna cry.
I want to see you cry in these.
I'm called the Weeping Willow in the GCA, and I'm not gonna
There, take my arm. I'm gonna walk.
cry. One thing too.
Yeah.
Like, just this year, we had some new volunteers, and Becky, he is just a pro and knows the routine, and I give her a schedule, and she's just telling us like what to do, and they're so thankful, and the kids absolutely adore Louise. She works on handwriting, and they love
Thank you.
every night with her, so.
It's been a good trip, really.
If I might indulge a little bit here, so the family moved to Grapeview in 1922, my father was 7 years old. And then, of course, the school in the old Fair Harbor Marina, where my dad attended, it just been built and they vacated the one that's on the end of East Stadium Beach.
Yep.
Which I believe Ed Johnson and his partner now, they've incorporated into their product. That was the old place coaching school. But I think when we did that reunion back in 2020 or so, Dad had picked up the microphone and kind of thought, well, this not the side of him, I'm saying, but he used to start the fire in the morning at 6 a.m. and mop the floors, and I can't remember if it was 25 cents a week or 25 cents a day. It might have been a week. And then, of course, so he was there in the 20s, and my brother was there at the regional Grapeview School at Fair Harbor in the 40s, and I was there in the 50s and 60s. And then, of course, Mom was part of the PTO and Teachers Association and auxiliary for the fire department. So it's been a long journey.
History.
And then, of course, then this school location was chosen in with the 80s or so. So anyway, but nice job, Mom. Thanks.
Well, thank you all.
Yeah, I just have a comment. I met Louise early on. I started coming to the board in 2013 to replace one of the board members who was moving out of district. And I quickly learned that Louise was an instigator. She was an instigator for good. Good of the school, the good of the community.
I'm glad you added it.
Well, okay.
Thank you all again. Thank you.
So Mom, you're welcome to stay. You're welcome to go ahead and go on with your evening, do whatever you want.
Yeah, well, I'll stay it.
Wes says this periodically, the reason they call it.
There's a reason why they call it a board meeting,
Yeah,
right?
you are. Anyways, okay,
Boring sometimes.
so. Good job on that item number 8 there. So announcements, it looks like 4th of July holiday, board meeting is the 23rd of July. Next one. Okay, I'd like a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay,
Well,
yeah, I move to approve.
Well,
the consent agenda.
any discussion here? Um. It's interesting, this anonymous donation of the yearbooks. This has been kind of an ongoing thing here, is it 4 or 5 years anyway?
Yeah, it's been a while, yeah.
It's a true thing.
COVID, I remember COVID, yeah.
Truly is an anonymous donor.
I mean, few of us know who it is,
Oh,
but
okay.
they're, yeah.
Nothing reached more than this.
It's the same anonymous.
Same
donor.
anonymous
Mm.
donor.
Wow, that's really great.
That's significant.
Yeah.
Could you talk to them, see if they have another friend that would like to do that?
Okay,
That's
so
really great.
any more discussion on the consent agenda? If not, I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
100%. Okay, so we're down now to item number 11. So what I'm gonna do here is change the order of presentation tonight. And Hannah, I'm gonna have you go first.
Okay, all right, so I do want to say about the yearbooks, because I have it in here, what that does, that $1,000 donation is it makes it, we would have to charge like $22 a yearbook per kid. And it takes it down to $15 a yearbook per kid, and then we accept donations as well, so, several families will say, here's $30. So
Yeah.
that, here's my kid's yearbook, and then,
Somebody
for another
else.
kiddo, so we made a list of kiddos. And this year, we were able to gift, I think 6 yearbooks to kids,
Wow, great.
based off of donations, so, that's really meaningful, and, some of those kind of selections of kids were, kids who we knew could not afford a yearbook, who made that very clear, but who are also, like 8th graders leaving Grapeview, and that's really important to us, or, students who are moving and are leaving, and that's really important, we want to make sure that they get that yearbook. To remember our great school, so that donation is really important to us. And I hope they keep it going every year. All right, so the end of school brought some really joyous activities to Grapeview. Field day was an absolute blast. We did not get a dunk tank this year. The total cost for us to get the dunk tank with the rental and with the increased liability insurance, because those insurance companies are just, they're no fun. It was gonna be like $800, something, it was ridiculous, and for one day.
For a dunk tank.
They didn't miss it.
No, I'm so glad you
They
said that. It was so much fun, and they got to, hose down with real powerful squirters, staff members. So that was fun, and, and that, the kids didn't miss it, they had so much fun. And that's all thanks to Megan Pearson, the way that she creates this as a middle school leadership opportunity, so all the middle schoolers run the events. And they partner with the little kiddos so that they can go to the different events with them, and it's a really neat thing to see. We had one of our paraeducators, Sierra Severance, is with the Miss Washington organization, and she had a Miss Washington teen come out and crown and dress and take pictures with the kids in her sash, and then she allowed the kids to soak her. She went and put on a change of clothes, and she allowed them to just soak her completely. She was just thought this was the best school she'd ever been. And all the little girls, and especially our TKers, just loved the fact that the princess was doing events with them. It was just special things like that. We had Mason County Sheriff's Office out here with K-9 unit, the fire department. It's a great community event where we see that this is a community school. So it was awesome. And that's Megan Pierce's leadership in that. She needs not just to get the credit for that, but the recognition of the amount of work for months that she puts into that event is phenomenal. 8th grade graduation ceremony was great. We did have all 25 of our graduates here. We had one who chose to not walk with his class or sit with them. He wasn't feeling very well. And so he still came, which we had heard that he wasn't going to, but he still came. And I don't know if it was truly he wasn't feeling well versus anxiety or sadness to be leaving Grapeview, but he at least came, wanting to come and he participated in watching his class and getting a cupcake, stuff like that, which was great. So we 8th graders also went to Ocean 5 and Sky Zone for their 8th grade trip that they earned through the Gator Gallop and other events that they do, and they had a great time. They had a lot of fun. It was a long day, like between both of those places, but they had fun. And that was all put on and organized by our ASB and Ms. Jilson, who, picked topics on all of our eighth grade end of the year events and throughout the year with ASB. The curriculum adoption pilot year, if you notice, we have a lot of materials in here. We are adopting we are piloting sampling math curriculum next year by next spring. You will hear our top choices, and that's put together by our curriculum team, so it's not just administration, it's teachers and it's staff that are working with the kiddos from all levels and their say and their input is really what makes the difference. When we did this back with math expressions, I was third grade teacher at the time. And I remember that adoption process, and it really didn't matter what the teacher said because they're the ones using it. And I really appreciated that at the time that we had that say and that voice in it. So that's gonna happen next year. We've got some really exciting samples I've gone through, and I have my favorite. I have a favorite.
Are they purple by any chance?
So yeah, those ones are. But not because of the color, but because
Oh, sure.
because that would help, but Steve has been our sales executive and our car salesman negotiator. And she
Car salesman negotiating.
amazing, the work with, because these companies they want to charge you for a pilot year, they want to charge you small amounts for all these things with discounts on it, or that will be deductible if you choose our, curriculum, they want to, because they're trying to make money.
And if you get the Northwest package.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so much of that, and I did that years ago when I was in student services, and I warned her, I said, that's not my specialty is negotiations. I didn't know that was something I would need to be really good at. So that was hard for me, but I got through it. This was not hard for her. She was just pulled up her way through. She got these samples completely cost-free. And then we were just at the AWSP conference and we went to one of the vendors of iReady, and she was like, oh, I've been working with you over the phone. I was talking to one of the gals there who she's been working with, and she goes, oh, your other 2 sets that you asked for in addition they were mailed out yesterday or on Friday. Okay. This is amazing. So huge props because we have so many samples to go through and real curriculum to look at and try with our kids so we can see what programs we want to hold into review. So that's an amazing skill that I didn't know she had, that she will be attending the next time I purchase a car.
Yes. I have a question. How long do we hold on to a curriculum like that? Is it 10 years, 5 years?
So, it's a really great question. We developed this, like a curriculum, looping calendar years ago. And then COVID hit when we were in adoption periods and pilot periods, and so we didn't adopt, and what that did is it kind of pushed out calendars in a weird way. So it's usually 7 years and then a year of sampling and then adoption. So every 8 years. But sometimes when standards change so dramatically, like when we went from Glees and Dealers to Common Core, we couldn't be on a curriculum schedule. We had to adopt new curricula for districts because that was such a significant change. And they're pulling a lot more STEM components and requirements into curriculum. And so we're at a good place with our adoptions. Like, this is a good time. I believe that this adoption, one, is not going to be cheap. There is a whole budget for it. There's money set aside specifically for curriculum adoptions. But I think that this one will be a full cycle. I don't see any interruptions.
So it's more bang for our buck then, so
I
to
think
say.
so.
Okay.
I think so. I mean, don't hold me to do that for everything, but I anticipate that. I've seen the patterns, increase and change, and I anticipate that the newest of the new right now is some things that's including more STEM and engineering components for kids.
Also, I've got another question. Is it integrated with the new smart screens too?
The ones that we're looking at and there's one extra with it, like there's one that's more so than all the others. It's also my favorite. It's really well-rounded.
Well, it just adds more value, in my opinion, to have those interfaces, and yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And those are all things that we look at and consider. So even though maybe my favorite is the most expensive, there's components of it that are so well-rounded that cover so many different things and investments that we've made that it's really, I think, more bang for our buck and long.
So I think what I hear Hannah saying is that there's going to be 0 problems with implement. thing, right? It's gonna go super smooth, and all of our scores are gonna go way up.
Well,
Right? I think she's promising that.
your chat, I mean, you hear her enthusiasm behind it,
I
and
do,
you
yeah,
told
I
me
do.
on it.
Yeah,
Curriculum
I'm a
is kind of
believer.
like Christmas for educators.
Yeah.
Like it's, when we unbox
Fresh
things,
new book.
and we, exactly, there's something about it that's really inspiring and helpful, and so we looked through them, and this is all Cindy, she's gone through the ed reports and pulled it into 3 and met with the curriculum team, and we with those selections and and then they started to come in the boxes, and it was so exciting to work through all of them.
Another question, how many, like, are these books specific to Washington State, or are these national books that have a curriculum throughout the United States?
Yeah.
Like, how does that work?
Most programs are national,
National,
like
okay.
Pearson and Houghton Mifflin Harcourt and McGraw Hill, the publishers are national. A lot of our ELA programs will match up to state, like they will have state supports that hit Washington State history components or social studies curriculum. So but the big companies are big and broad, and then they'll have subsections that are specific to states.
I have a question. Tell me about the last day and the kids rallying and then the departure.
All right, yes. So the last day of school, it was so fun. The kids left smiling, some were sad. But they were sad for the long break, and they were the 8th graders. That was the part that surprised me. So the 8th graders don't really have to come to school on the last day of school. I'm being recorded, there's 180 school days, so I hope that we don't, like, a lot of kids, a lot of 8th graders don't.
That's right, else listening.
The last day of school, it's a half day. The 8th graders, is kind of the big deal for them to like, it's like senior skip day type of a thing for the 8th graders. Every one of our 8th graders was here on the last day of school, supporting the kids, walking around the classrooms, interacting with people. We played them in Nitro Ball, staff against 8th grade. It was fun, and they
won?
beat us. Oh, they.
Yeah, they beat
us.
Sean, we were in the lead for like the first half, and then they had subs and we didn't.
You got tuckered out and they didn't.
They switch out the whole side, it's like in kids soccer, when you watch a team with 10 subs and they switch out the whole side, it's defeating. But actually it was really fun, it was,
It was a
I
blast,
look
and
forward
then,
to it again.
yeah, we did bubbles, and we all go outside and we move them all up a grade, like our 1st graders, our 2nd graders, and they, their 2nd grade teacher comes and greets every one of her 2nd graders, and so, the move up ceremony is really fun. It was a really special day. And then we blow bubbles and sing songs with them as they get on buses and parent pickup and leave.
Oh,
It's really, it's special.
This year we made signs, so last year we dressed up in inflatable costumes. So this year we all made signs.
it's funny.
Yeah.
The school yearbook was a super success. We talked about the donation, but Heather Beck does that whole event of the yearbook throughout the whole school year, taking pictures and putting that together. And then this year, she had a couple middle school or 8th graders who wanted to start through ASB, a yearbook club, and help her with certain pictures and things that were important to them to be included. So a couple of our 8th grade kiddos, maybe even a 7th grader, helped on the yearbook club and participated with that. So that was exciting to see.
And they would come through during electives to make sure they were getting pictures. If somebody was missing from the yearbook, they were sent on a mission to find them.
Yeah,
That's what's really.
with Miss Fitchoff's broadcasting support and help as well, because she's got the good equipment. So it was helpful. Some of you, this is kind of on a sadder note, but some of you have seen the information in the press release about the Hopkins Middle School dance that happened on June 7th. That the PTA put on with 5th graders. The original press release said that it was an event that involved grade few students. It was not an event that involved any grade few students.
Oh.
We were not invited to the event. And we were not a part of it. And I verified that with every single 5th grade family. And then I contacted North Mason School District, and they clarified with them, and they redacted that information from their statement. And I contacted the Sheriff's Department, and they put out an update that redacted Grapeview from their statement.
Excellent.
And then I did reach out to the local news stations that put out a report about it. But I was sent to their media input voicemail, and I let them know that those reports had been updated and Grapeview School District was taken out. course, nothing ever happened with that, but I just wanted you guys to know, I feel like we did our due diligence in ensuring that none of our grade 5th graders were involved, or any part of that, situation, and, we informed our parents of that as well, that none of our kids were involved in that, not a single one of them even knew about it, wasn't cited or attended.
What was the press that you left a voicemail for?
Cairo, and then I
Ah,
also did with Como, because both of them did a story on it.
Yeah, okay.
And as a follow-up to that, the article in the Shelton Journal, that was kind of an update of ongoing discussion that is, in your opinion, is it going to just die? Or is there going to be some discipline or?
I'm not sure, it's just that I did the Mason County, I haven't read the newest journal, did they include Grapeview in it as well?
No, it was not, Grapeview was not included.
Mhm.
It was, they were just talking about the ongoing.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yes, yeah, I have a feeling that, being that the situation happened, I'm so close to summer break, it's my noticings often in the past that the sheriff's office will do a phenomenal job with their investigation, but as far as the community, concern and disruption, they'll notify people, but the parents are on summer break with their kids, and when they come back in the fall, they might have concerns, but at that point, a lot of it will probably be wrapped up and have more conclusions of that.
Give me a thumbnail version of what happened, I didn't hear about it.
Well, yeah, so I'm not fully sure of what happened, but the stories that were reported was that the sheriff's department was called at a PTA event where they invite both the 5th graders from Sandhill and Belfair Elementary. And they've done this a few years in a row where they've had a dance at the hub, but this year their dance was at Hawkins Middle School. And there have been times where grade 5th graders have been invited, and some move on up from 5th grade to middle school dance. And there are PTA parent chaperones at it. But this year they did it at Hawkins Middle School. Hawkins Middle School administration or the school itself was not involved. It was a PTA funded and sponsored event. And at the event, there were accounts and I guess you could say accusations that there were a few boys there who were using cell phones to take inappropriate pictures of girls, like up their skirts, things like that. That was just what was reported. I'm not sure what happened with that, but then some of the girls went and told an adult and reported the incident as being and there was also reports that there was aggression by some of the boys of inappropriate touching as well. Again, I don't know if any of those have been validated or anything, but I know that there were like 3 patrol cars that reported and started investigating the situation, but it's a shutdown. And in the news report, they said 5th graders from Grapeview, Sandhill, and Belfair Elementary, and so that was what I wanted to immediately and to care, because we were not a part of it.
Good.
Ironically, it's a good event, it should be a healthy event.
Yeah.
I was going back to my days of the old 4-H camp that we used to attend out in East Michelle, Penn and the lake, and that was always a highlight of the dance that we were allowed to go to. So I mean, it's interesting how times have changed.
It is.
Well, you know, I mean, I think that the, you know, bad apples haven't changed. I mean, there's bad apples everywhere, and, you know, and combine that with immaturity, right?
And access to cell
And
phones.
access to technology and well, yeah, you know, and it just is too bad because you're right. I mean, that is a good event to involve all the schools and, you know, I mean, and it's too bad that something like that would happen.
The next thing is really exciting that I want to talk about. I'm so glad Katie could come because she can talk about it so much better. So I'm gonna give this over to Katie for just a couple of minutes. Because she took, every 2 years, she takes a group of our kiddos to Washington, DC. This is not a Grapeview school sponsored event. She does this through World Strides or another travel company. And she is not paid for this. This is not something that, this is something school is just out and she takes a group of middle school teenagers to Washington DC to experience some beautiful educational opportunities. So she had a great trip. She just got back on early Saturday morning.
Yeah, 2:30 Saturday morning, we pulled into Grapeview parking lot to hand off the kids, so I'm not off the clock until those kids are out of my charge. So I've had 8 adults, 8 children, 3 adults, so there was a total of 12 of us. It was really fun, because we have to do head count all the time, and they're moving. And it got to where we're like, okay, 4 girls, 4 boys, 4 adults. Because I would count and I'd be wrong. We got to see a lot of really good things. I really fight to get to Gettysburg, because that's how I end 8th grade year, is the Civil War and Reconstruction. And this year's was really poignant. One, the Emancipation Proclamation only comes out once a year. They bring it out at Juneteenth. Last time when we were there, it was a brand new holiday, so we were able to see it. This year, it was a much more well-known holiday, so the traffic and the crowds were ridiculous. And the line was over an hour long, which then meant my kids could see the Constitution this time, because nobody's crowding around the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. So there was a trade-off. But we went to Gettysburg. Then we went to the Emancipation Proclamation. And then we went to Ford's Theater, and we were able to go into the house across the street where they took Lincoln before, when he died. And so the theater museum underneath, there was, a lot of times when you get there, either in the morning or the evening, you sit in the theater and they tell you the story. Well, they don't do that throughout the day, but there was a National Parks Ranger who stood in a backdrop stage and told the story with amazing engagement. The kids were just sucked in. So they were meandering, and all of a sudden, boom, they're there listening to this guy who had some really neat stories and some good tie-ins and things like that. And it really moved a couple of the kids, the whole idea that our world changed because of this one act of evil. We went to the Holocaust Museum, and I don't get to do a lot with World War II with my students. A lot of them are just fascinated on their own, and we touch on it with the Soviet Union in geography. But I had one who was just near tears through the whole exhibit, and his chaperone and the other kids were walking faster, and he was getting, I'm like, I will walk with you. That's why I don't have a group. I'm your buddy now. And I just, because I'd been there so many times, I didn't need to worry about it. So we just walked at his pace, and he just took it all in and absorbed it. So I think that was really beneficial to him. Yeah.
Can I ask, did you guys get assigned IDs when you started?
Yes. So, and I had pre-warned them. I said, when you go in, you're gonna get this card, it's gonna be a person, and don't read the back until we get through the museum. Most of them died.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my person had died. A couple of the kids had someone who survived, so they were really excited. If you do the Spy Museum, which is not as heavy, it's more fun, you get a similar idea, that you get an identity to follow through. We didn't do that this time. But it's hard because we're such a small school.
Yeah.
To get a bus to ourselves, we would have to have 35 people. And I had 14 go my first year, and I had 12 this time, so I figure that's gonna be my average. So we get partnered up with a bigger school and we follow their schedule, which most of the time is not a big deal. This year, there was a lot more traffic because people have been told to come back to work. And it doubled our commute time anywhere, because they always put you in a hotel outside of DC, so we're always like in Virginia or Maryland, this time we're in Maryland. And we spent the first 3 days, one of my parents was just frustrated, because we've been on this bus for 14 hours. Like, yeah, it's just the traffic, there's nothing you can do about traffic, and then we had a thunderstorm roll in and derail our monument visits. And these kids had never seen a East Coast thunderstorm, and we're on the bus, and it was pretty cool. So then we ran into the National Archives, where we saw the Magna Carta, we saw the Constitution and Bill of Rights, and a gift shop.
It's quite a trip.
Yeah.
I've been to DC ton of times, and it's amazing every time.
This was
Um,
my fourth time, and I had 3 brand new experiences I had never done. We toured the National Cathedral.
Right.
I went to the house where Lincoln died. And I gotta remember what the third one was. Oh, we walked up to the Washington Monument. It's been under reconstruction the last 2 times I went.
Yeah,
So we got to walk around it. We didn't go up, but we were up super close and the kids could do the perspective photos and strange things.
so I was told that kids are no longer taught, well, I guess it was called cursive writing when I was in school. You know, so could they read the Constitution?
Oh, no.
No.
So one, it's way
Is it translated?
the US Constitution and the Bill of Rights are extremely faded, the ink, which is why they're dark. You're not allowed to use flash photography.
Right.
That's the other reason the Emancipation Proclamation is only brought out once a year. So that in and of itself proves how important these historical documents are. For cursive, I write our menu and our directions for homeroom every morning in cursive.
Excellent. Yeah.
Because I at least want them to recognize the word lunch.
So I had a contractor at my house, right, and he had younger workers there, and I wrote them thank you notes. And I write in cursive, and I've got bad handwriting anyway, so, you know, combine that with. He had no idea what it said, they had to read it to him. And I thought, oh gosh, you know, why aren't we doing that? But anyway, so what an amazing trip. You ought to, there's some really interesting architectural notes about the Holocaust Museum and how it was designed.
Yeah, when you walk in, the downstairs floor that you're standing in
There's
before
people
you
walking
start
above.
is made to look like a gas chamber.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it starts off, and what was really cool, because I had told the kids on the bus, at least I told my group, this is a somber experience, you will not be loud. When you go in, you are going to take this respectfully, and the gal that introduced us before we went into that elevator was one of the Holocaust survivors. There's a few of them left, and she volunteers once a week, and we just happened to get her.
I find it insulting that in today's society, everybody's calling each other Nazis. And if you really know what that word means,
Well,
you know,
and look at the anti-Semitism that's happening.
yeah,
And my kids just went through this experience, and it's like,
it's very difficult to see that.
it is.
But anyway, wow, volunteering that time, it's awesome.
To recognize her and things after this, because this is like, we were so tired after the school year, it was wonderful, but it's like exhausting. And then I asked her to text me on, Monday night, make sure they got their safe and sound with all the kids.
Yeah.
And she called me and she's like, we're here, and da-da-da, and I'm like, that's just amazing.
Thank you.
Yes.
I still remember some of the things we were talking about.
I never had the opportunity, my brother did. I went with my oldest son, and my dream was to be the leader of these trips. And I even offered Josie way back when somebody stepped out and they weren't gonna do it anymore. I said, Josie, I know I teach kindergarten, but I'll do it. She was like, it's so fun, it's so fun. So here I am.
I have a picture of me holding one.
Yes.
And it's
I did,
like-
yes.
Oh.
It was a woman.
Oh, but she must be.
I would have to say. She would have had to been very young. When it
Yeah,
happened.
that's surprising, yes.
So
Now she could do whatever they need.
about
Like
you,
80s or 90s, yeah, so it's-
You got to see, you went to Krakow, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I've done that too, and that was.
Yeah, so they have a section there where there are some pictures that they put behind a wall,
Mhm.
and they don't tell you what it is. So you are welcome to go around the wall and see, and then they also have a room where you can sit and listen to actual recorded recountings.
Do they still show the file, videos that were being filmed during experiments?
I don't know that I saw any of that, that might be behind the wall,
Yeah,
but there are pictures where they use the bodies of railroad ties. There, I mean, there are some really strong images, again, to prove that this was real. And it was, I just felt that it's such a benefit to my kids. Because they don't get that.
yeah, we're so far removed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What was really interesting is the tile was together for me, last 10 years was the remake of the movie Lincoln.
Yeah,
And that was
yeah,
unbelievable. Gettysburg was tied into that as well as what he had to go through in order to get the Emancipation Proclamation ratified by Congress. So it was interesting.
people talk about tearing statues down and stuff, they don't know what's behind it.
there's an excerpt of a recording of him with Frederick Douglass. And I used Frederick Douglass's book in my 8th grade class when we start getting into the racial tensions or the tensions in the North and South to help them understand how our society could have done that. You know, you dehumanize, you take away their humanity, and then having it in someone's own words is powerful. So it's a wonderful opportunity. I wish more kids could go, but it is financially burdensome. And that's why we go every 2 years, so they can spread the payments out and make it a little more easy to swallow.
And just say something quickly about that, Frederick Douglass. It also teaches that even though other societies, like, you know, maybe the majority are doing the same thing you're doing, it doesn't take away from the evil of what you're doing, right? And so, you know, when you're in something and you know it's wrong, but, you know, society's like, well, everybody's doing it. Well, you know, should you be? So anyway, thank you for doing that. Yeah. Thank you.
Report.
All right, so
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So our summer projects and things that are coming up, on Tuesdays, we're going to have like reading days with Southside Reading Foundation, Craig Garden, books like we've done in the past. There's a schedule up there for it. We're having preacher teachers come. Cindy's arranged all of it, to make sure, and Jerry with Southside Reading to get that operation again. So they're gonna be coming up and there's a schedule up there. Really exciting. We've been working to get Grapeview's art back in the water festival, because years ago we used to have a booth for, you know, our pottery and things like that, that were in there in our glass etching, and we haven't had that for a while. So we have those beautiful murals that you pass. Tony is putting a special backing on them that will keep them lightweight. We've been working with Lori on, and Ed White. And we are getting, and Margaret, can't remember Margaret's last name with the GCA, but we've been working and we have a location, and Chris and I are gonna get them and help Ed get them up on the 25th. And so then I'll be with them all day on the 26th to kind of talk about our students who did them, how the work is done. Lori will come if she can, and we're gonna have 4 of our amazing murals up on display at the water festival with her. So excited. So that's really exciting. Okay, so this next part's gonna be something that's really exciting and wonderful, but also an incredibly hard thing that I have to do. So I just want you guys to know just how, I'm not a crier, I never have been. I'm in the middle of 7 kids, so I'm pretty tough.
You're so tough.
But I've been at Grapeview for 15 years now, including a year of studying. And it's my favorite place to be, so I'm just gonna read this because I will do better reading. It is with a very full and grateful heart that I share my resignation as principal at Grapeview School. I have accepted a leadership role in a larger district. I can't disclose it until they have their public disclosure tomorrow afternoon. But it's a really exciting leadership role in that district with a lot of growing opportunities, and one that will allow me to continue to challenge myself and expand my work in educational leadership with some new opportunities and avenues that I can go. But making this decision has been so difficult because Grapeview has been my home and workplace. It's been more than a workplace to me, it's been my home. My kids' home, and my husband has participated here for so long. Over the past 14 more years, I have served in this school as a parent, a teacher, a student services coordinator, and a principal, and also as a proud community member. Each role has deepened my love and my appreciation for what makes this place so special. Grapeview has shaped me. I started out here at like 27. Like, it has shaped me. I'm in my 40s now. This district has shaped me. It supported me and it's allowed me to grow in ways that I could never have imagined that I could grow, while being the place that Chris and I have raised our children. We have raised our children in these walls. In the old building, before all of this remodel, I have so many pictures of my little girls unboxing curriculum, organizing my bookshelves. We've like literally raised our children in this school. Eden, my husband, helped out when he was working on his master's degree with maintenance and operations in the building. And I have pictures of me coaching basketball and Maddie being in there and helping. She's only 5, and Chris vacuuming the middle school buildings before they were open, with Marion holding the rope for the court for the vacuum cleaner as a little 2.5-year-old and pouting because she'd rather be running wild in the gym. But my kids have literally been raised here. When Marion was 2, Joe told me just to work because I was subbing and I didn't have childcare for her. She said, just bring her in, she'll sit with Sherry. And Sherry gave her a Tinkerbell Band-Aid or a hangnail, and then she wouldn't speak to Joan, she would growl at her, but she, this little pipsqueak, Sherry was her world. Sherry was there, she would sit up on her lap and cuddle with her, so like I really mean it, they were raised here, this community raised them. This school board has been, quite honestly, a school leader's dream. Your commitment to students, your trust in the professionals who serve them, and your unwavering support for the school leadership are the cornerstones of our success. And it's been an absolute honor to serve alongside of you.
Thank you.
When I'm stepping away from this role, I leave this school with the best team of leaders the school could ever hope for. And although I'm leaving this role, I remain a proud and consistent Grapeview community member who will always support the heart of this community, which is this school. Thank you for your belief in me and for your dedication to this community and to school and for all the work that you've done.
I think you forgot the one line though at the end. Which was, I mean, I've actually seen this letter ahead of time and you forgot the line that says, just kidding. You're not gonna read that?
No, not really.
Okay.
Then just so you know, I've been thinking about that a lot, especially this year as my kids have grown and they've moved on to new experiences and challenges, and I thought, you know, the time is gonna come for me to move on to new experiences and new things, so that's what we do as humans, we grow and we change. And things weren't happening, you know, OSPI was cut by 12% and districts were cutting positions, and I thought, okay, this isn't the right time. And then that changed literally a week ago from yesterday. And then it's been like, it was just, and when those kinds of things happen and things come together, and I have the most supportive mentor who says, if this is right, then this is right. And when it comes together and falls together that way, I haven't absorbed anything yet. I'm still trying to like work through that, but I also have great help and guidance that's, you know, been really supportive of me the entire thing. I appreciate it so much, Sherry.
Board will miss you, congratulations on your new tough. But you'll do very well. You'll do well, we'll miss you.
I'm guessing you probably have a bunch of friends up in the district, right?
I have one. I have a couple of people that I know there, but overall, it's gonna be different. Well, it's gonna be different.
Yeah.
You're gonna come back as a Grapeview community member and sit over there in the visitor section someday.
No, oh, you better believe that.
You're gonna get the.
You'll be tired.
With Gary's little fingerprints all over it.
She's gonna be tired.
But I can't wait to come into like a Christmas concert and just stand in the back and just love on those kids, but be able to do it in a different perspective.
So 14 years?
in 14 years of contracted employment, but there was a year of subbing and I did like a long-term sub in kindergarten that year for Sherry and then, Sherry Gill, Marie Duckworth, went on one of her abroad trips and so I did a long-term sub in that. Like, so 10, 11 is when I filled out an application,
Yeah.
fingerprinted and started everything.
Yeah, and I think that I got on the board shortly after that, like maybe about a year or two afterwards. But Hannah's class was one of the, we used to, as a board, get invited to, visit a class and participate, and I remember the first time I did that was in Hannah's class, and it was so much fun, and we were doing some kind of trivia stuff and I was competing with the kid. It was really a blast. So, and I remember thinking back then, what a great teacher you were, because all the kids were engaged and, just really into it, and again, you've really grown here, and as a principal, I would say that you probably took a lot of lessons from Nick as well. And we have had great leadership here, not always the greatest superintendents, Jerry. But you've been a really great principal, and Grapeview is one of those places where either people are beginning their careers, right? With bright-eyed, bushy-tailedness, or they come from, the world, they've been through it, and now they're winding down, and they need a district that just, is already, that doesn't need a whole lot of fixing, right? And so it's one of those two, and it's kind of a conundrum that we all fall into, because we hold on to good people as long as we can, but if they're ambitious, right, the nerve, right? There's opportunities in larger districts, and hopefully you've gotten your foundation here, and they'll carry it with you. So, but yeah, we're gonna lose an asset here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
I'm sad. So you think so?
she almost said she was just kidding. I almost got her to say,
In the consent agenda, then, for the next meeting will be your.
Yes.
so this is your 1 year notice, so that. So we have a year to. Sorry.
Okay, anything more?
Let's get a have you.
And no experience for all.
Sure.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, so, yeah, we need to think about a party for him.
Wow.
I love parties.
Move it on. Okay, Jerry.
All right, so, this wasn't surprised, we've been talking, I was a reference, wrote her a letter, I talked, my backyard to one of their administrators, I said, she's practically perfect, is basically what I said, and they heard me, and they snapped you up, and
So it's your fault.
it's my fault, I take the responsibility for that. But the thing is, when you hire great people and ambitious people, that sometimes they move on, right? And that's hard, but it's also good because you love them and you want them to achieve, and that's what's happening. So, but with that, I learned that it's important to build your people and have a plan. And so I've done that, we've done that, and with Cindy, we've been working with her. She's been part of the leadership here at this school for quite some time. And we've used that position that she's in to really build her school-wide leadership skills. And if you might have noticed, she gets mentioned a fair amount at these meetings, from all the work that she's doing. So, I'm not left in the lurch because we have, Cindy here, who I am going to appoint as principal of Grapeview School, to start right away. And she's already been very much a part of our leadership team from in the very beginning. And we will, we're in good hands. She's fantastic. They've been working side by side for a number of years, and they have been fantastic. And Cindy's well prepared to take on the job.
Oh
So
my gosh, so this is like a double win, you know, sad, happy.
let's call that sappy.
As sappy.
So now this is something happy.
Yes, yes, I mean.
So that's that joke.
Fine, like, you know, right in,
So much.
right in,
easier.
on, yeah.
So much easier.
All sorts of things. Bad news.
No pressure.
But he certainly will miss.
Well, you got the T now. You got the T, you know.
Today was at Tozer's, right next to the superintendent's district office for Shelton. They had a banner up there, and Cindy and I were talking earlier that their proficiency in reading was 2006 was 26%, or 2022.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
26%, and now in 2024, it was 42 or 44%.
It basically says that a quarter of our students are proficient now, barely less than half are.
Yeah.
And how great that is. And I see it every time I go to the, I know I don't look like it, I go to the gym to pretend, you
I'll
know.
let you, what you folks have done here as a school board, watching professionalism.
Yeah.
When all entities do the right good things to make sure our bottom didn't fall out like it did a lot of districts.
You can't say what school it is yet.
No, but it's not until 12:30 when they have their press release tomorrow.
So we're ready to move.
Yes, well,
Is that- It's okay, it's okay. I know these things happen. I've watched them and then seen great people with different skills come along and bring their own unique character to the job. So Hannah's fabulous to work with, one of my favorites, but Cindy's great and will be a dynamic team, I'm sure. On to my other announcements, Sherry did most of the legwork for the application for the freezer that we will be receiving very soon. It's gonna be a big walk-in freezer, so that's coming pretty soon, and then we can make it a little easier for our kitchen staff to have things they need readily available to do the high quality cooking that they're doing. So that's a good chunk of money. It was about 15 grand altogether.
27,000.
27.
Sherry, what did you have to do for that grant?
I had to write how the freezer would benefit our district. Because our freezer space we have now is so small. And one day Carol was gone and I agreed to accept her shipment that morning. It was a no school day. And there are these giant boxes that probably weighed 50, 60 pounds that I'm like struggling with trying to like Tetris these into this tiny.
Yeah, right after that.
And then you're like, gonna get a new freezer.
So I really highlighted that just for pure safety reasons, we really needed this freezer that we could walk into because somebody was eventually gonna be hurt by just trying to juggle the huge boxes in the freezer that we have.
Yeah, so really push that forward and we had a short timeline and she was all over it. So
Yeah, and
thank you for-
57 schools applied and 11 schools were awarded, so. I feel very.
It was your amazing use of vocabulary.
Yes.
Thank you, Sherry. That's awesome.
What are the smoothie machines?
They also got smoothie machines.
That was.
Every the things that spin around, you pour it into a cup
There's
or
just like
something.
giant blenders, there's 2 of them.
And that
That
came
could
from
be
the
used for so much.
Washington Dairy Commission. That was a grant.
So, when you're a little school, you have to, be resourceful and, go after things when they come up, and we have people that are ready to do that, so.
Initiatives.
Shelton, Shelton, working on their special ed contract, that's, and we'll be thankful for them and their special ed services that they provide to us. Through speech, OT, psych services, and just kind of general oversight and advice. I have questions from their special ed director. It's very valuable. It's hard to do that kind of work when you're a little school district, so when you can contract that, it's really helpful and it's good for them. We have a high needs student that is moved to our district that was in a self-contained special ed program in Oregon. And I'm talking to Shelton about a possible placement there, but I met the child and when they seem kind of scary when it's this giant thick IEP with all this data and all this information in there in a self-contained program. And then I asked the mom, can you just bring him in? And they did, and it was wonderful, and he was just a boy, and it wasn't scary at all, and it was lovely, nonverbal, but we're going to try to see if we can do something in-house, by hiring a teacher of our own to support them, and I just feel good about that. I like to serve our own kids, and he's our kid, and so I'm working on trying to make that happen here real soon.
By doing this, would there be an offset? In other words, this teacher being in-house as opposed to contracting, out there be an offset in expenses?
Well, so
Might be the same.
I can tell you, we have a child in the high needs program in North Mason, and it costs us about $100,000 a year, right? I think we will serve this child for less than that here in our own program and provide them a better service. I feel that we can bring that child into our community and not push them off into our contained space.
Whenever you outsource it almost feels like you're turning somebody away, right? You're like paying somebody else, they're your problem now, right? And I mean, I don't feel that way. I'm just saying that it kind of looks that way.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's.
And sometimes it's necessary depending on what they need.
But I think this child with our space and the access to a particular staff that I think we were able to find, we'll be able to provide a wonderful program for them and their family. And so that's what I'm working towards, so to serve our own kids if we can. CTE, North Mason Advisory Committee.
The CTE acronym stands for.
Yeah, Career and Technical Ed is a federal nationwide program. Career and Technical Ed, lots of federal rules and regulations and expectations and nauseum, but what it is around providing opportunities for children to have career-oriented courses for technical ed. The bulk of it is at high school. A lot of it is very specific towards careers, medical or welding or various, whatever it might be. At middle school, there are kind of exploratory career and technical ed courses for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. We've not generally had that opportunity to do those. In other districts, what's happened is the high school has a career technical ed director and a staff, and then they kind of build backwards to build programs for their middle schoolers. However, we don't have a high school that we directly work with, that's ours, and so I'm trying to, even though I'm not a CTE director, build up a program of our own in our small space. North Mason has helped me, Shelton has helped me some too. I have one CTE course, I'm working on a second, and hoping to get a third the following year. It's quite a laborious process, but it's good for the kids, and we're trying to make it happen. We're done with the advisory committee and now I'm trying to work with OSBI to get the course approved. There's tight timelines and it's gonna be a little tough because the framework for the course has to be shifted for his course, so I'm hoping to have it there, but we will be offering the course, whether we can call it CTE or not is dependent on whether we can get the frameworks changed to match the school.
There's some funding too that was out there.
There is additional funding that comes along with being a county kid as funded in the career technical ed course. And they just recently in the legislature passed it so that sixth graders can be funded with CTE courses. So that's gonna expand our options for kids. But it's a long process to get through that. Most schools will have a director to kind of lead that process. I just do it in my spare time, but we're getting there. So I'm really pleased as, you know, some of my goals, one of my goals was to get through the process of negotiation contracts with teachers and PSC. So, Andrea and I were able to make that happen. We met with them and we have tentative agreements with both groups that are fair and reasonable for us and them. So we're still finalizing some of the wording, but making sure it's you know, we have it all typed right, but I'm very pleased with the agreements.
We can afford this.
Yes, we were very, one of the things that we were able to do is paint a picture of what all of our neighbors are doing. And how much they are all getting paid and how they're all going broke. And so once they were able to see that we were all on the same team, none of us we're all dealing with the same issues in relation to comparative pay. And we said, this is what we can do. And I think we came up with a very fair agreement. They were reasonable and understood. And we played our cards on the table. And I think we came out with quite a good agreement.
Sure, yeah.
So we'll share that at the next meeting.
And that's been pretty common here at this school is management and staff have always, you know, sort of seen eye to eye.
There's trust,
On a
right?
lot of different things, yeah.
So,
I actually don't remember the last time we had real contentious, you know, negotiation or whatever, so.
So, we had an incident, when was it? The sixth? Yeah, so we had somebody doing target practice nearby, and so, I was in my office sitting here, Cindy heard it. Just took action, called a lockdown, and shelter in place. We waited for the police, they came, we greeted them. And it was towards the end of the day, so what we did is we stationed a police officer at the front and had one kind of go talk and explore what was going on. And then by then it was the end of the school day and they were here and we communicated to all the families and let everybody know, and you guys do. I didn't really ever feel like there was a direct threat, but you can't be too cautious when there's shooting nearby. So well, she took action, made the decision, and then we walked it through and everybody was safe.
So we've identified who the neighbor was.
I did not, I let the police handle the police stuff. We just had them here to make sure that nothing was happening.
It was probably somebody that wasn't cognizant of,
Proximity.
you know, what could be interpreted, right?
In this day and age.
I get it, I know,
Me,
but
and I get it too, I don't get it.
Close, it was just close.
yeah,
We all hear target practice all the time.
Yeah.
It's amazing how, but it was
especially around hunting
too
season,
close
right?
to come.
Yeah.
And I was at an appointment and Cindy said, you know what, this is real close, and maybe that's all
Thanks, and sorry.
another sign of leadership right there.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, it's never good when, as a board member, you get a text from Jerry saying, no matter what you've heard, it's okay. It's like, what? No, he didn't say that. He was just like, hey, give me a call when you can. But it sounded like it was handled very well.
It was quick, they were safe, we were just ultra cautious, cause we like to
Yeah,
err on the side of caution. So civil rights, we went through, every district in the state went through a civil rights review, and we did as well. They gave us some recommendations for what we should include. I think that we were on base with them on the broad policies that are kind of broad. Some of the specific procedures that they recommend were different than how we approach some of the issues on civil rights. And so we kind of had a little bit of back and forth. What I'm proceeded with is there's lots of nationwide debate and legal battles going on about this, and rather than us get stuck in the middle, we're going into summer, and I submitted to them the procedures that they want, and I'm going to in September. That buys us the summer to let everybody else fight through those procedures, and let the courts make their decisions, and then review this again in September to evaluate the court decisions, and then review our procedures and ensure that they're reflective of our. So I've submitted that already to them, and the procedures are generally superintendent's prerogative, but I know that we are all aligned in our views. And in September, I will want to revisit those procedures to ensure that they are consistent with our community. So that's just something that I just got the letter back from them. Sherry sent it to them, and they were just waiting on that one last thing. So again, I can assure you that in September, we will review that. I will not let that as we go into summer. We'll give them what they want, and we'll review that when the courts have done their due diligence.
okay.
The Apollo, we're right at the end of that. The chiller is running, and we had some nice, comfortable, cool days in here, and when it was hot outside. They're still working on some of the adjustments for energy efficiency and some minor fixes that they found in our system that kind of interact so that they can make sure, just tweaking, finalizing the projects. One other thing is that we want them to, they still need to train us on using the control systems. Some of the things like scheduling, for example, we had the air conditioner working, but we have it turned to shut off in the evenings. And we happened to have a show, and it was hot and everybody, but we didn't know how to manage the controls yet. Yeah, so that's coming, and so we're at the end of that work. Just a few things, and I'm thankful for that. So
Well, why don't we go back in history when we were having this meeting in June, July, and August.
And the door was
yeah,
We know it, so.
and we're all sweating.
yeah.
We'll get it.
Yeah, so there's a couple of big projects that were some of my goals right there. They manage that program. Mentor a principal who I scared away.
You mentored you.
And then CTE, and then the agreement for a couple of major items that was been able to check off the list for this year. And that is my report.
Thank you. Two reports that have taken the majority of the time, hell away from time. All right, that time of night for the most important. So we're gonna run this business, Andrea,
Thank you.
drum roll.
Okay, I'll try to, mine will be quick, because mine is definitely boring this time of year, for sure.
So Lance, if you'd like to swing around more so you can see this, or can you see okay from there?
That's good.
Okay.
So I did fail last week, they were emailed out to you guys, I did it the month before, but not
Well, this month, this budget has been consuming all of my brain, but Sherry's promised to email this out.
I did email it to all of you today.
We did
so-
already?
Mhm.
So efficient. Okay, so this is everything financial through and including the month of May. Next page, this page, you'll see our enrollment trends over the last few years, and then that top right hand box is including our June enrollment, so that's our year-to-date average, that's when we'll finish the 24-25 school year. Almost 16 FTE above what we budgeted, so a little bit more kiddos than I thought we'd get this year. And looking forward to next year, I've got a note at the back of this, the same note we've had for a few months, that we're planning to budget for 210 students next year, same as we budgeted this year. And I did some quick math here with a quick whisper to Hannah on what she knew about our TK enrollment looking for next year. And if we take that 225 year-to-date average and graduate the 8th graders and add in the 12 TK that we think we might have, and there might be more because it's still early in the year. And some parents, families don't know when they have to enroll kindergartners at all. That puts us at 210, 212-ish. So we should be budgeting for hopefully about what we'll have next year.
So, and we have a degree of confidence that we're budgeting at the 210, that we'll be in that 225-ish, like, and I and you.
I don't see any decreases really happening. I
Okay.
think a few people moving this summer, when that happens, I see people moving in.
Okay. So just at a level, that lands at a high level, we've got like a $4 million a year business. About 3 million comes out of this enrollment piece from OSPI with 10,550 or so.
Not for, yeah, people a long time have used 10,000 for.
And so then the levy covers the other million or so, and that's the stuff that isn't fully funded in education, like cost of jury,
Music, arts.
Cindy and Andy are covered, but the school bus drivers, the cook staff, Tony's not covered. Pardon?
Music.
So this is the stuff that we actually call it enrichment. But anyway, just wanted to kind of give that.
Is that still the requirement for your levy is
Technically,
to say it's enrichment? So
This
like,
enriches basic education.
so like buses, that's enrichment.
Well, we call it operational.
No, I know, I just think it's kind of a shell game
Yeah.
kind of thing.
We received.
I mean, we get the money.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, you know,
We do receive funding for transportation from the state. We
no,
do
I
not
know
use
that, thank you. Yeah, it's just every time that comes up, I just go, why, you know, why doesn't the legislature just drop that pretense and just call it, you know, a shortfall, you know, because we're not getting funding from the state for that kind of stuff, right? So, anyway. So what you're saying is you think that this upcoming next year, we finished at 225, right? And you think it's gonna be similar next year, or it's gonna be 210 to 212?
Based on current numbers, I think it'll be closer to the 210 to 212
Yeah.
that we're budgeting.
Yeah, okay, then I heard you right.
and then you hope for more, but
Yeah,
plan on less.
But we also have had, Hannah's told me since I've been here historically, out of district families that want to come to Grapeview, so we can then add as many of those as we can fit in our classrooms.
And that's that 16 student FTE. It's that out of district piece that you're constantly being challenged for.
Looks like we'll be in a good place for what we're planning to budget. All right, on to the next slide. This is our, the money we spent last month. May is in that middle column. Year-to-date activity, encumbrance, what we think we'll spend, and then our balance of what we budgeted for this year. So we are not on track to spend all of our money, which is a good thing. It's a pretty close number, though, 122,000. So if you're talking about a $4 million budget, 122 is not that much of a buffer. So that is one number that I'm very, very closely keeping my eye on, because we're not allowed to spend more than what we budgeted unless we ask for what's called a budget extension. And when we get to the next slide, and this is
the same as it's been the last few months. We're receiving more revenue than we thought we would because of those extra students. But we still can't spend more than we planned unless we ask or request a budget extension. So I think we'll stay within. I don't think we'll have to do a budget
So if
extension.
you schedule for the 210 and we go over, that's what you're explaining.
So this is current year, so 24-25 school year, we budgeted to spend $4,198,000. And if we keep on track what we're doing right now, we'll end up spending $4,070,000-ish or so. So we have $122,000 that we still spend without exceeding our budget. And the state doesn't allow us to exceed our budget unless we tell them. We have to request what's called a budget extension. We have to do it before we spend the money. And it has to be done before August, so it will be in the next few weeks. We just have to get just really close. I just wanted to call that out and make you aware that and it's because we've received more revenue, we have more students, we have a little bit more money to spend than we thought we would, but we still don't get to spend it unless we advertise them.
Can we roll that over or is that a use it or lose it?
No, it stays within our fund. And we should be good. I've been looking at that very closely since I got there. This is the slide that's been a similar story for the entire year. The revenues compared to budget have been higher and the expenditures have been a little bit higher, but not as high. So that's just the money we're saving. It's a good story.
Will insurance be going up next year, Jerry? Do you know that?
A little.
I know mine went up.
It went up a little.
Not too
Not,
bad.
not very much at all, not, the insurance provider, the Washington Schools Risk Management Pool sends out a letter in the spring every year of what they anticipated that increase by. And then every school can use a factor and every school district gets a different amount of increase. If you have a lot of claims, yours goes up more, if you don't have as many, it may not go up as much. This is our second year with the risk pool and going off memory, Jerry, you can correct me if you remember it, I think they projected a 12 or 15% increase and ours was in the single digits.
Okay.
Yes, it's going up, but
I know,
not,
but I'm
not exorbitant. We had a
crazy.
couple of years, 5 or 6 years ago, the districts were seeing 25% increases in their insurance. And
Yeah, switching to the school was very good. Managed.
I mean, that's what people are seeing, you know. I think mine was 43% increase in homeowners and auto.
That's
So,
one of the things that's called out in the state budget. We get money for materials, supplies and operating costs, and one of those operating costs is insurance. So that pot of money went up a single, a
Yeah.
tiny little percentage.
Yeah, so-
Not as
But not
much.
enough to.
Not as much as. Okay, general fund balance is our, how we'll end the year. So this is just always looking at how we'll end the year. And then historically, how we've ended the last few years. So that top number in green, right now, just using a projection formula, we're projected to end the year at 792,000. We will not end up that high, because we had a lot of payments made in June. So 6 months of our special education co-op payments we're making next week, this week. And I did some math after June just to kind of see what it would look like, and I think we'll be really, really close to what we ended last year in that, just about 700,000. All that I've got on that one, those are the other fund balances, they are again almost identical to what you saw last month. We do have some exciting news coming. I was on the phone today with our school bus salesman scheduling a delivery. We're gonna have our new school bus show up at some point next week is what we're hoping. They could have brought it on Friday, but that didn't work for our bus drivers, so we're looking at a day next week. If anybody wants to be here when it shows up, let me know. Okay.
Is it brand spanking?
It is
new?
brand spanking. new.
Has the new bus smell and all that?
That new school
That's
bus
one of
smells.
the.
I will let you know when we
Okay.
find out when we.
We have limited color options.
Yeah.
That'd be great,
We're
yeah.
doing chartreuse. Purple. Just going purple.
It's the lights that we want the disco ones.
Well, we're out for market. The state patrol inspection. very close.
Bar.
All right, some of the stuff we've already talked about, enrollment, Jerry, you touched on hiring the additional sped teacher, school bus. And then because of the delay in legislation wrapping up this year and our bargaining with the two groups and me being brand new to budgeting here at Grapeview, I'm gonna get our budget to next month's meeting. I am obligated to get it turned into our ESD by July 10th, so it will be done. You throw that and you'll get a sneak peek and it's down there. But just didn't have it in time for this meeting. Part of that has to do with advertising. We're required to advertise in the newspapers, and that takes a week or so before the actual meeting. And I didn't want to advertise a week ago, not have time to get that back today, I haven't looked at it.
Also, a factor is that you can't do anything until the legislature finishes. And then OSPI has to analyze all that and provide the workbooks that drive the funds, so
Yeah.
we weren't even able to work on that.
I did actually save redoing some work by this kind of procrastination that we ended up having to do. This state OSPI has these systems, computer systems. And one of them that we put all of our information into, we got word late last week, they said, hey, you've already started working in here. I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to do it again, because it wiped everybody's information out, and I said, store for procrastinating. They usually have some bugs, that wasn't unexpected, but it was good to not have to review work. That's all I know. If any questions about money stuff, absolutely.
One of the last pages shows an Apollo Solutions payment. Is that trust money? I mean,
That's grant funding
grant funding
for the project.
moving into. a
They
check.
piled up a 3 months worth of invoices for us, so it was a big chunk of it's 238,000, I think, or maybe something like that.
We have a pile of money from the grant that's coming up. All right. Any more questions on budget wise? Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to item number 13 in the agenda. So this is why item number A, the principal administrative contract with Principal Hannah, stricken that, so we won't consider that
Stricken.
But if we,
stricken.
but if we approve it less,
You can't go.
then
Still.
the other district,
Do look wrong.
So we have two printed.
you won't be able to leave, right?
Then on the next agenda, be approving Cynthia's.
So,
Yeah, let's just cross out, on the right. No, yeah.
so I'm gonna move then, I won't consider item number A, and we'll move down to B, but during, it looks like we have a board resolution. 06/25/25. Could I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Tom,
Second.
Wes, discussion, so. As that list was attached to in our patent, right, it looked like a computer stuff, old stuff.
Oh, we saw that.
Yeah, and so this stuff, it'll be sold as surplus. And then revenues then come back into.
I'm not sure you have to make it available for sale, but I'm not sure anybody ever buys it.
We have to try it, we have to put it out there and sell it, and then nobody will.
Are you gonna be okay?
Can we get away?
Or throwing it away.
Wow.
I mean, what do you do?
eBay, I mean.
Yeah.
Can't eBay?
We'll make it available.
Facebook Marketplace?
Well, actually, also it gets sent out to all the other districts, so we all take a look at everybody's
Stuff.
list of junk and nobody ever.
So, in view of the discussion, looks like it's relatively innocuous, any more discussion? If not, I'll call for a vote, all in favor?
I,
I did hear you talking, but okay. All right, and then, so I asked Jerry to, in lieu of the stuff that I've seen show up in the Bellingham, to show up in the journal in regards to lawsuits pending at Northeast School, regarding the school bus safety or lack of, or common confusion. Jerry, would you please bring us up to the article?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've not, there's a couple of major, there's a whole lot of levels of management, that go into managing a classroom, school. And some of them are just people and building awareness, being observational. good practices of leading kids, good relationships with kids. Those are a big part of maintaining a healthy, safe school. So those are things that we emphasize, making sure kids know we're watching and we're around and we're connected with them. Those are all important parts of the front end of creating a quality learning environment. So, but there's some other practical things that we do that are to help with that process. One of the things we started doing last year is adding a bus monitor, a staff to ride on buses. That we don't have a second adult on all of our buses, but we do periodically and randomly. So as we can, we have a second adult on the bus, which is extremely helpful. I mean, it costs us money, but it helps them manage safety and discipline on the bus. It's a notoriously difficult place to manage children and drive. So we do that as much as we possibly can, and that's an important part. We also have cameras, so when things do go awry, we can monitor and track and find out what exactly happened. That's sometimes useful. But in this particular case where an older child was sitting with a younger child and took advantage of them, we don't let our little kids sit with our bigger kids. They all sit in the front of the bus, and the bigger kids sit separately towards the back of the bus. So so there's a number of different practices that we do that help prevent any kind of inappropriate conduct. So I mean, it's not a guarantee that you can never have problems, but there's a whole long list of practices that go into our processes for managing a school bus that make our bus, the odds of that are almost nil. So I think and those are things we already have in place. They're not in response to their problem. They're things that we already did because we try to make sure those buses safe, right? They were things we already had in place, and why we don't have that same kind of problem. Kids do silly things and we get after them. But nothing to that degree. So it's not generally over protocol to do questions, but I saw your hand go up, Lance.
Yeah, Jerry, I was just gonna say that I have some grandkids that have assigned seats on buses.
Yeah, they have.
We usually.
Ours do too. They have a nameplate.
Oh, okay, so-
They do get moved periodically, and so that's also a thing, yeah.
So I was gonna say that helps preclude.
Yeah.
Exactly, if you're already doing that.
So I feel like we really run a pretty tight ship on where larger things like that. You know, we just deal with goofy things of kids throwing something or crawling under a chair or, poking each other and things that kids do, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's.
I get it.
Is anything going to be done about these lawsuits?
That's a different district, that's their thing.
The only reason I asked Sherry to cover this is it did hit the paper, and I had some people question me in the community. How could this happen? And so I wasn't going to speculate. I asked Sherry, what do we do? And so that's why I wanted to make sure that we didn't have a similar situation with 6-year-old sitting next to a 30.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Any more?
Yeah, I invited Travis Couture to come tonight and talk to us. And he deferred until the fall based on his schedule.
Okay.
And the one thing that I'll mention. The Title IX federal laws have come into conflict with the state laws in several states as it relates to gender issues and sports and those kinds of things. And it will be important for us to keep our eyes on the news as it comes out. There's some lawsuits that have been filed, and it could impact budget money coming out of the federal government to the states, which it would include Washington. And nobody really has any answers right now. So we'll learn more about that over the next few months. And maybe as we go into July and the August meetings, we might have a little bit of news by then.
It sounded like today, one of the news services, maybe I want to just run this by folks, but it sounded like in the last 2 years of the state budget, there may be a $720 million shortfall that revenues were going to lag versus projected revenues.
This
Anyway,
is in Washington State,
yes,
so we're overspending.
no,
Wow.
no, not over, well, I mean, it looked like that there's projections that would indicate we won't get what they budgeted for, and that we will fall short of that tax revenue.
I'd like to just make a comment about Travis deferring. And it's because he owns a high-end custom cabinet manufacturer. And right now is like their Super Bowl season, right? So they're swamped, and so that, you know, when he defers, I don't think it's because he wouldn't want to come talk to us. You know, it's just
Yeah, he said there's a high.
making a
probability-
living. So,
High probability he'd be out of town.
Okay, I'm gonna move on here to the policies, if there's no other section 15, so. First policy we got, Jerry, just in the discussion, is capital asset debt sensitive. So I read through this.
The policy we have already, and we're updating it.
It's going to update.
Actually, every one of our policies that we'll be looking at, are policies we already have, we're just updating them with the latest. Recommendations.
All right. So that should be revised in January 17, okay, then for approval. I'd like to have a motion to approve policy 2020.
so moved.
Wes,
Second,
Tom, thank you. Discussion, so course design, selection, and adoption, that was 2020. I read through it, it looked pretty straightforward. I guess the thing that, kind of stuck out to me, so we already have this one as well, so just an update. That's the thing. We need that. Any more discussion? Okay, we call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
100%. I'd like to have a motion to approve policy 2021 dealing with library information and technology programs.
So moved.
second,
Wes, Tom, discussion. Nothing there jumped out at us. We have that's pretty new one, that's 2022. Any more discussion on? All in, so I'm gonna call for vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 100%. You hear it, agree?
Right.
Okay. All right, I'd like to have a motion to approve policy 2230, the transition to kindergarten.
So moved.
second.
Discussion?
I love TK.
Yeah, it was really interesting how when I read through that, and I almost got a feeling that, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was almost a dissuasion in there that we would have a TK program, that we would be pawn this off to some other. Is that,
So-
did that ring true?
So the last 5 years, the TK has been quite a political entity. I've spoken with the legislature twice on it, advocating for the programs, because what's happened is it got started without legislation. And so legislatures didn't like that. And then there's also competing programs that serve early at Head Start and some other funding programs. So they were kind of been out of shape. So there's been lots of conversations with the legislature about it. So they want to make sure that our community doesn't have any other options. So there's no controversy whatsoever. But in other communities, there might be 1 or 2, 3 other programs that then we're siphoning off, schools are siphoning off students, and then that impacts those programs. So there's a lot of factors, and they want to make sure you think through those. And the community there's no other option than so we fortunate enough, you guys got it started early enough. They did freeze funding. So we're not able to do any expanding of programs in the state. That should be for like 2 years, and then we anticipate a slow allowance for growth enrollment, so. So we're there, we're funded, we're solid, we got what we need.
How many students?
There's about 12, we're anticipating
16.
16 this year.
We're funded for 16.
We have 16 right now, so we are receiving funding for those 16. We're have roughly 12 already enrolled for next year, but our cap, we will never get funding for more than 16 under the current resolution. We could enroll 20,
Right.
we would just have to.
Yeah, and one of the other things that the legislature had to do when they did dive into this, they removed it out of basic. So that's why, because at first I was concerned about it, then I thought, oh, that's kind of brilliant for their perspective, is if they make it basic ed, that means they have to do it for every child in every school in the state of Washington.
But we still get the same 10,000 plus for those transition things.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now it's just an optional program that schools can have, but aren't required to have. And that's actually a good, I hate to say they did a good idea.
Well, broken clock is twice a day, you know.
Okay, any more discussion on this? We'll call, all in favor? Okay. I'd like a motion to approve policy 5011, the sexual harassment of district staff available.
So moved.
Discussion. Looks like, this is relatively new, or just updating it. Any, more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
100%. Okay. We're through the heart of the agenda. We're down now to item number 16, so the July board meeting is the 23rd. So we've got the calendar that we're gonna be looking at, Jerry, plus,
Our, that'd be our, that'll, us, our meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, of course, then you'll have the budget in. Okay, as of right now. That's pretty much it. Anybody else have anything that we need to jump out?
Yes, and this might be for future retreat conversations, but at the last meeting I was at, I talked about investigating, or at least looking into what it would take to put our own special needs program together, and where other schools might be able to outsource to us and have that program, and it might pencil, right? And then the second one is I'd like to seriously discuss how, because Jerry, you're still spreading your time between the two school districts, right? I would really like to be able to discuss how to get Jerry back to being here, right? And maybe we can do it and maybe we can't, but I at least would like to discuss that.
When you say we had gone to 4,
Right.
and we went back to 3, would it be that you go beyond 4 to 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, that's
So I know it's a money thing,
Mhm.
but it's also an investment in our school, and I just, I don't know, I mean, I know that that index, right, is benefiting from you, but I'm a little jealous, I'm a little, you know, I kind of think that you're really a Gator at heart, so. Anyway.
I like the idea of discussion.
yeah, I know I'm gonna ask Jerry to we'll include these into that next agenda. And now, and knowing full well, it won't probably be a one presentation discussion. So, at least it puts it on it's the elephant in the room.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of like talks that would be in its infancy, but we should, you know, every goal needs to have a start, right? So,
On the sped front, if I could make one comment, that was informing my look towards having our own program, that idea.
yeah. No, and when you were talking about it tonight, I was thinking, oh, great, that could be the kernel that starts that program.
Do we have the facilities? Are there any special capital needs that need to follow that?
If, for a more robust, contained program, we would need to do some work. For this particular child, we can, manage what we have. Manage the extent.
All right, well, if there's no more on the agenda items, I'm gonna move down to, so what we did here, Lance, is when we get all said and done with the meeting, we have a history since I've been on the board, but kind of reflecting about our boardmanship. So you'll hear comments on our own assessment of what a deal we maybe need to do. So I'm gonna start with you, Buzz.
Okay, I kind of hate the concept of commenting on our boardmanship because it always sounds like we're patting each other on. You know, well, I did a great job tonight, you know, it's like, it just, I don't know. I'd rather talk about sort of, you know, what the school is doing and all the good things. Sherry, that was amazing about the freezer. Those things are not cheap, they can go away. Hannah, I don't know what to say. You know, I'm kind of a shake and bake parent. You know, I went to the kids store and we bought, you know, we got our kids and we adopted our kids. And, you know, they were 6 and 8, I think, when we came down here and interviewed Joan. Because we were like, well, public school, or we should send them to a private school or whatever. And Joan was just so. She was just, you know, what she presented was who she was, and we really loved her, right? And so, you know, we didn't know what to expect. I mean, we were, you know, Kelly and I were both really like helicopter parents and very, you know, protective, you know, of our kids and Hannah, you just solidified I mean, you really, I mean, even at your beginning stages here at the school, and when I think about Grapeview, I think about, you know, Hannah, I think about Mrs. Goodell, I think about Cindy, you know, and all of you, you know, really emphasize why we're here, what the mission is, and everybody here has such clarity of why we're here, right? And they're not bogged up with political garbage, right? On both sides, right? And they're not, you know, they're not looking at it through those lenses, and that is a special talent these days. And I am so sorry to see you go. However, I'm happy to see Cindy advance, and you know, and you've been on that track for some time, and you know, you have been doing some amazing things, and I hope you guys are gonna still be connected.
Oh, gosh,
Right.
she's like one of my best friends.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds cheesy, but like,
Yeah,
we have so much fun together.
yeah, and so I'm happy and sad. I'm savvy.
Another new acronym.
Yeah. Anyway, I should just shut up.
Tom?
So,
When I first got involved in the school, the PTA was pretty active and Hannah was pretty active in it, and we had parties and we raised money. And we had music and people danced, and And,
It's on movies.
yeah, really, Anna's a good dancer, but Chris is a really good. Yeah, yeah.
Make that
It's a John Travolta.
very simple.
Yeah. Those were the days.
Yeah.
I've class visited most of the years that I've had the opportunity to, and I was in Hannah's class at least twice, maybe 3 times. I couldn't go to her class this year because she was a big shot.
Whenever we get to view all our class.
Yeah.
Betty, view you.
Yeah. I love you, Hannah.
Make you cry.
It was right for you to become the principal. And I hate to say it, no, I don't hate to say it, and I acknowledge the fact that it's right for you to move up. You have a skill set and a heart that's gonna help whatever district you. Bravo. Louise, I'm glad you got honored tonight.
Yes.
When I talked about those times when I was first in the community and involved, you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like, all over the place, if you know what I mean. And I would hope that the board, would go down to the, Grapeview Arts and whatever the festival's called and stand in front of the murals and have your picture taken. See Grapeview on display.
Not only that, but you raised our fearless leader. Davis class.
Oh, gracious, I have to take, I take.
Yeah, take responsibility.
Yeah, good and bad.
We're happy to have you.
We can post it, then adjourn. Okay, Henry.
I'm not,
Oh, actually, I'm sorry.
this progression of, super principal assistants or assistant principals into the principal slot. I've seen it a couple of times now, and I just have the greatest respect and confidence in you, Cindy. We won't miss, I don't wanna say we won't miss a beat, but we have a real strong person moving into a position that needs that strength, and you're very well rounded. And I watched you scurry around and just take care of all kinds of things. We're in good hands.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you, Henry.
Like I said before, I think Anna, you're gonna miss, we're gonna miss you 100%, and the next school is gonna be better off with you. You're gonna be a ray of sunshine there, and it's gonna leave a hole here. And Cindy, I've watched you, I'm super involved with the school, I'm excited. So the both of you are turning a chapter. And as a mom too, I'm not just a board member, I'm a mom, and sharing a relationship with you I'm heartbroken. I don't get to hear the phone calls from you anymore. But yeah, the both of you are on track for a great journey, and I'm so proud to hear that you guys are moving up and get to see it firsthand, and I know you both rise to the occasion. And I'm also happy to see that our current FTE or our projections are looking good. I was a little concerned about that, and I just hope and pray that they stay up and we're able to keep going, keep trucking along. Did I miss anything?
No. Wish you done.
I'm done. I'm gonna miss you, I really am.
I see this too very, very much.
Well, that's like a good news, bad news.
Yeah.
Bad
Yeah.
news related to good news, is it's good for you and, you know, it's gonna be good for Cindy. So.
I'm not gonna like the commute.
I go back to, and I remember when you just have to come into the board, and of course, in comes Kurt, and in comes, Josie leaves and Nick comes in. I remember each child basically having a little spreadsheet about the grades. And I can remember the statements about Nick saying, if we recognize a weakness, we can fix it. And I sure that you came and I heard those same words, and And if I have a word of advice, keep that in the book. Because it seems to be bearing out, like I tell people, you know, that this is an interesting business, that we're all running here. And at the end of the day, our product is the quality of these kids, and much to Lance's point, that it's the future that we're talking about, and that our point, our goal here, collective goal, is that everyone gets an equal opportunity for that education. And that's really respected. You won't get a private school with a better vision than that, and moniker than that. So to your credit, you're gonna go away with some good stuff, and whoever the school district is will benefit by it. I love this organic stuff, Cindy, I told you earlier, this is really cool. So now your job is to make sure that 10 years down the line, the next person, the next Cindy, Canada Cindy, that, who that person is, so. And Mom, it's been a long journey. 60+ years. So congratulations. Well deserved. And on that, Jerry, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Okay, just some last comments. Thank you for your encouragement. You're correct, I'm a hater. I love it. So, and it's a joy to work at, and it's been a joy to work with you and see you just take to that position and do fabulous work. Always enjoyed coming in and greeting you in the morning, which you did with such great enthusiasm. And that wasn't just me, it's kids and everybody, and you spread joy. So thank you for the great work you did for us, for me, to encourage you to move on is not to encourage you to move on, but your growth is. I was anxious about it, but as we talked more and more, I think that, and thought about it and prayed about it, I felt like it's right. Yeah, and we're sad, and we'll be good, and you'll thrive. So I'm proud of it.
We build monarchs here. That's what we're doing, and we're setting her free.
So Sherry, let's show that 6:57, major. Thank you all, Lance. Thank you.
I'm excited to have you on the board.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you all.